Hello, I'm Layla McKinnon. Welcome to A Current Affair. First, they lost their son to a coward's punch, a heartbreaking loss that struck a chord across Australia. Now, Thomas Kelly's remarkable parents, Kathy and Ralph, have a plan to help stop drunken violence on our streets and save young lives. Dan Nolan joins me. Dan, they're an incredible couple who are getting a lot of community support.
They certainly are, Layla. While most of us were celebrating the new year, last night, a small dedicated band of volunteers were out patrolling the streets, ready to help those who'd indulged a little too much. They are inspired by the Thomas Kelly tragedy and they wear his initials proudly as these guardian angels try to stem the flow of alcohol-fuelled violence.
If it saves one person's life, it's definitely a service which is worth doing.
Andy, can you sit up for us?
When people have had a few drinks, that's when they're often in pretty vulnerable situations.
If another family doesn't have to go through what we go through, well then we feel like we've given something back to the community.
It came without warning. Thomas Kelly was walking with friends through King's Cross when he was king hit by a stranger.
It was a senseless crime that changed a city forever. 18-year-old Thomas Kelly, on his first night out in Sydney's King's Cross, king hit and killed by a complete stranger.
He was just the most beautiful kid who had his whole life in front of him.
His distraught parents, Ralph and Kathy, were forced into the media spotlight. First to help find their son's killer, and again to voice their anger at a murder charge being dropped to manslaughter.
We're here today for our son Thomas, who cannot speak for himself and will never speak again.
Their son's killer is now serving a 10-year jail sentence, but the Kelly family are serving life.
Life will never be the same, you know. We miss Thomas deeply and it never really gets better. I think people think that you get over this, but you never get over it.
In an attempt to pull something positive out of such sadness, Ralph and Kathy are now channeling their energy into the Thomas Kelly Foundation.
Most parents probably will have no idea that their children were saved last night or the night before. It's really about making sure that our kids get home safely. That's what our foundation is about.
And last night we watched these guardian angels in action. In conjunction with the Thomas Kelly Foundation, around 60 Salvation Army volunteers patrolled the streets of Sydney, looking out for people in need of a helping hand.
Andy, we've got some Chuppa Chups, we've got some water. Andy, seriously.
Right from the start, you just know what sort of New Year's Eve these kind souls are going to endure.
It's going to get really busy up until around 12, 1 o'clock as people then start to peer out of the city.
Please, someone tell me where the closest toilet is.
Yes, right there.
But no matter how annoyingly drunk you might be, these guys are there with a bottle of water or some new shoes to get you home.
You don't have any thongs. Here's some thongs for you.
Thank you so much.
You put them on and be safe for me.
All right, thank you.
Among these angels is 18-year-old Cass.
Fantastic work you're doing. Fantastic.
Helping out on New Year's Eve is a big task and I'm kind of excited for it.
Cass doesn't drink much herself. She's only just reached the legal age anyway.
I find because I'm so young I'm able to relate to the people who are my age and kind of be that kind of like mother hen.
Their selfless work much appreciated by those sober enough to realise.
I think it's an amazing thing to do. I think the fact that they're giving up New Year's in Sydney to walk around to make sure everyone's okay is fabulous.
Oh my God, these are legends, I swear.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that helps a little bit.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Happy New Year.
Those who need more than a pair of thongs can come back to this dedicated, safe space for a much-needed rest.
The safe space is a really helpful place where people can charge a phone, grab a bottle of water, wait for a friend. If they need to use one of our phones, we can contact their family or friends to come pick them up.
Nate Brown is the lead organiser from the Salvation Army. In addition to New Year's Eve, his team of volunteers are out every Friday and Saturday night, trying to rescue people from becoming yet another statistic of alcohol-fuelled violence.
They're feeling smashed, you know, they've got sore feet, they're probably feeling a bit groggy in their head, so look, if we can help them feel a bit more comfortable or help get them home in the right direction, I think it's the small stuff, but hopefully that's intervening before things go to a really bad place.
The dedicated safe spaces are rolling out in Melbourne and Brisbane too. The Sydney program is funded by the New South Wales Government and City of Sydney, but the Angels wear Thomas Kelly's initials. The message is, take care. The last words Ralph and Kathy ever said to their son.
This is a brilliant program, and I just applaud Ralph for his determination in seeing it set up. I think that Thomas would be blown away by the kind of support that this program is receiving, the kind of volunteers who are turning up to help serve, to wear Thomas's name on our chest is a real honour for us, and I really hope we're doing him proud.
Sadly, the Kellys aren't the only family to have lost a loved one to senseless violence on our streets.
It's a story that tragically has become only too common. A young man left fighting for his life.
Daniel Christie would lose that fight. Another 18-year-old killed in almost the same spot as Thomas Kelly last New Year's Eve. His alleged attacker is awaiting trial for murder.
I think it's very sad that we just keep seeing it happening over and over again, and I think that it makes you often feel like throwing your arms up in the air and saying, well, you know, we've tried, what more can we do? But we have to keep trying.
And that's what the Thomas Kelly Foundation aims to do, maintaining pressure on governments to reduce alcohol-fuelled violence. They successfully lobbied the state government to increase licensing restrictions across the heart of Sydney. Now they want the federal government to curb alcohol advertising too.
We've seen no serious brain injuries in St Vincent's Hospital for 2014 as a result of alcohol. And that has to be a good thing, and that's a part of the new laws that were introduced in February this year.
They're also working on changing our justice system to put the victims' rights ahead of the offenders. Thomas Kelly's killer was initially sentenced to just 5 years jail for manslaughter. That was doubled to 10 years on appeal.
There's this terrible injustice going on in the state, as we've seen on multiple occasions, and it really has to stop. You know, we cannot, just let these offenders roam our street and be let off time and time again.
The Kelly family spent New Year's Eve knowing these guardian angels were there to help, but the program only has enough funding for a 3-month trial.
It does require funding, so we are looking for an organisation to partner with us to actually fund this program to help our youth and other people in the city or in various areas around Sydney.
And if your company's interested in sponsoring those angels to keep up that amazing work, please contact the Thomas Kelly Foundation and you will find all the details on our website.